I want to talk about discrimination within the Social Security system. Now, people have heard me talk about how Gretchen Whitmere and Pete Peters and all these other people who were governors and high ranking officials were not treating Social Security in the state of Michigan correctly. They're not making these people draw because they feel like it, right? Off of people that they're supposed to draw off of. I've got one case sitting right here in my house. My son, he's supposed to be drawing off of either his father or his grandfather, and he's not drawing off of either one of them. He gets Social Security, SSI. He does not get Social Security, but he would get Social Security if Gretchen Whitmere here in Michigan actually tallied his case correctly. I knew there was a problem when I got back to Michigan, and the second we hit the scene, they started they started docking us for stuff that we had reported and were legitimately claiming. So I figured it out then. It didn't take me but 60 days after coming back into the state of Michigan. However, there were other issues within Social Security that I caught. This is probably one of the reasons that these people went after me so viciously and why DHS felt that they attempted to kill me, because I was figuring all of this stuff out. It wasn't rocket science. It's obvious, and they're doing it in everybody's face. When I have one relative who's not getting disability, who has the same exact medical conditions as another relative who is getting disability, and the only difference between the two of them is their name, then that's a problem, because now you're being discriminatory and you're not treating people equally as our Constitution requires. We have a lot of this going on within our Social Security system, along with our Department of Health and Human Services system, where cash assistance and food stamps are concerned. We've got a large number of people who are being given these benefits just because their parents had them. And that's not the reason to give out benefits. Just because your parents were mentally ill doesn't make you mentally ill. My mom was bipolar and I'm none of that. And that's documented. So we've got issues here where people are concerned. I've also got people like my mother who should have been receiving her disability, and she applied for it and didn't get it. And I happen to believe that's because she was targeted, very much like she was targeted with through IRS with Hillary Clinton. This is one of the reasons. Oh, excuse me. This is one of the reasons that I have a problem with Gretchen Whitmere and the system. She is one of my relatives. It's documented, and I'm not gonna. I'm not really proud of that. The way she's behaved as governor. She claims that she's trying to clean up the system, but all I see her doing is contributing and taking advantage so that she can line her own pockets. It's obvious when you look at her assets, especially when you start talking about where Gretchen Whitmere actually came from. Now, I know her husband is a dentist, but he's not that great of a dentist. On top of that, he gets most of his clients from Department of Health and Human Services, which would make sense because that's where Gretchen Whitmere was making all the orders and doing all her dirty work. So we've got a situation here where Gretchen Whitmere and her husband are concerned. I want to know where Gretchen Whitmere got all these properties when she didn't earn them. I happen to think that they very connivingly took these properties from people who had court cases for probate in the state of Michigan, and she just wanted to have their stuff because she was jealous. That makes more sense when you look at the situation on a bigger level, especially when I see all these properties wrongfully being auctioned off through the states that people were seized had, or that the government had seized, that they claimed were lost due to taxes. Especially knowing what I know about the land exemptions for people who were indigenous Wampanoag. So for that, I have to tell Gretchen Whitmere, I think you're a con artist, and I think it's really sad that you followed suit with Pete Peters and who was that other one? Snyder, because all of you have been skimming and scamming the state of Michigan and the disabled people for many years. And it's time to expose you for what you are. This is one of the reasons why Donald Trump wouldn't allow federal funding. And it's probably the main reason that Biden wouldn't let Gretchen Whitmere be his VP. There's a lot of things that you need to look at when we're talking about electing people. Now, Tudor Dixon, she has the name of the girl whose kid was also wrongfully taken while I was at Maple Grove, and Stephanie and David were still living in Lot 32. That girl needed to come over to use the shower because the state had cut off her water at her house and they were picking with her. Tudor lived next door to one of my grandfather's properties and took advantage of the fact that she was over there. The property that they went through didn't belong to them either. So Tudor, if that's the same person, I do sympathize with you because they did to you what they're doing to me now and have been doing to me since 2002. So we have an issue here with Tudor as well. And if that's the way she's going to go about trying to take Gretchen Whitmere and seek revenge on her for what happened with her kid, that's not the way to do it. How about you start coming clean and telling the truth, Tudor? Because I think you are the girl that Stephanie and David had coming over to Lot 32 in Maple Grove. And if that's the case, I helped you out because after they stopped talking to you because they got mad at you and retaliated, pay attention now. I still let you come into my house and take a shower because you didn't have any water. So don't you think it's time to come clean, Tudor? Because you can contribute to this way better if you're honest with God's love. We have a lot of things that we need to shed light on that are going on within our system. It's rational to be honest rather than to cover it up, because covering things up doesn't cause change. It just makes people madder. That's why I came forward, because I know that these people don't have the courage to talk to you about the real issues that are really plaguing America like I do. I'm not everybody else. I'm different. I don't sugarcoat stuff, and I'm not going to lie to you because it doesn't benefit me as an American to do that. So that everybody's on the same page. Now we know where I stand, and now we know where Tudor and Gretchen Whitmere stand. All of you need to pay attention at the voting booth. Again, I'm going to tell you, if you don't want either one of these people because you know their truth and their history, then put my name in the ballot. It doesn't cost anything to write Tina Erickson, Erickson, on whatever position you think I would be qualified for. Thank you and have a blessed day. Back the badge.